Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Commentary as Magic stream on today, Sunday, May 3rd, 2020. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese.
Arcat and
Ivory Starlight. I'm not allowed to talk about pony life, apparently.
no, you're not. Neither am I, nor any of us.
But I want to talk about pony life.
I feel like I'm being bullied.
It makes me feel good.
Don't you dare.
Oh?
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh, that's right.
Uh-huh.
Drink your water, put the cup down.
Alright, fine. Don't have to talk about pony life. Instead, let's talk about Set 12. That sounds fun. Because I hear that's a thing.
Set 12 is a thing.
And it's probably about overdue that we get around to doing this, huh?
Well, there have been spoilers released out in the wild already, and spoilers have a tendency to generate questions. Like, what does this card do? To which the answer so far has been, we can't tell you.
No, to which the answer so far has been, it's fun to speculate, isn't it?
Well, that's true.
That's also a question.
You're implying that I should ever answer the question with an actual answer?
Why would you do this? Why would you just create more questions?
Okay, Ara's just rocking that Hideo Kojima life right now.
Because some people just want to watch the world burn.
If I
Or
could
just create more questions.
If I could hiss right now, I would. Anyway, those of you who were present at BronyCon last year might remember the little fireside chat that we had there related to Leaders and Legends. That was a little different, as it was the introduction of the print and play format, or at least hinted at some of the print and play formats. But we also got the chance to talk a little bit about the design philosophy behind Leaders and Legends, answer some questions about what types of cards or characters or effects would be included, and just generally have a good little powwow with people. It was a good time. So we thought we'd do the same thing here.
And in fact, we like the fireside chat so much that this isn't exactly a fireside chat. I'm going to be honest here, it's a little bit warm to be playing games at the fireplace, but yeah.
Fireplace is in the upper room.
Poolside chat.
A little bit
With
too cold
social
for that.
distancing.
Also that. Anyway, about a week ago, I think we put out that was a little more than a week ago. We'll form for people to fill out with some questions that they had about Set 12. And also,
We've gotten some good responses.
And also, on account of there being some spoilers, should probably go over those at some point too. You know.
You want to talk about spoilers?
I mean, there's, 3 or 4 of them floating around right now?
Oh, something like that.
Twilight grows wings. Too early.
We've had a number of people who have been kind enough to submit questions. So let's take a chance to go through some of these right now. Should we maybe recap how print and play sets work?
I think that'd be probably a reasonable place to start.
Okay, all right. Tell us about print and play sets. What makes a print and play set different from, say, a physically printed set?
Well, the first part is you don't have to spend... How much money is it to get a full set? It's entirely too much.
It's like $1,000 or something.
It's entirely too much. You don't have to spend all that money. Instead, you can either print these out yourself or engage the services of someone such as Databyte last time to do a custom print run on your behalf. No buying cards, just here's the full set. Makes it a little bit easier to get a hold of a full set of everything. and much cheaper, of course.
Of course. Now, there was a pretty frequent question that came up when the first print-and-play set was released last year, which was, if I can just print out any card and use it, why do the cards still have rarities?
Well, because it turns out that you really don't want people just getting all of the ultra rares in draft. That's not fun.
For your
Draft is still the
opponent.
thing.
Well, because the problem is if you're getting all the ultra rares, then your opponent's also getting all the ultra rares. And rarities are very important as far as being able to run limited events, as we can through Hithrox Draft Simulator.
They're also important for the Pauper format, which has recently been codified.
Mm-hmm. And so,
And
yes, you can make an argument that maybe some of those should be fixed, and, well, yeah, maybe some of them should have been. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm. What about responsibility for design? Is Enterplay still producing cards or sets?
Nope. I think this one's a little bit more your arena.
That's fair. It may have been a bit of a leading question. So while Enterplay continues to sell cards for the game, which is one of the best places that you can find sealed product, by the way, Commentary as Magic not only leads organized play for the MLPCCG, but we also lead set design. Leaders and Legends was the first set that was designed entirely with Commentary as Magic and volunteers. And set 12 will be the same. That's why it's available through the same method. Download the image pack, print them out, have an individual professionally print them if you can, whatever it takes.
Yes, and if you're interested in getting a hold of Interplay's printed product, there is a reseller, Pack Breakers, who should have most of the older sets available. So go and check them out.
With all of that said, I think we can start taking a look at some questions that were asked here. If you didn't have the chance to submit your question through the form, or you think of something new that you'd like to ask, just go ahead and type it in chat, and we will try to respond as best we can as we go along. I think there's a very important question we should probably answer first, though.
Yeah, I think we should probably go right into this first one here.
So, Trixie?
That's one less.
Okay. As with Leaders and Legends, every time someone asks about Trixie, we regrettably will have to remove Trixie from the set. We started at about 150 Trixies and we're down to 30. 29 Trixies.
We're watching you, chat.
Watch.
131 of you could have prevented this.
Or
Well,
the same person 131 times.
I'm going to be honest, I think it's a little bit closer to the same person 131 times.
Yeah.
Now we're down to 28.
Keep it going. We've still got cards to burn.
Doesn't that just make more work for us, though?
No, it only makes more work for one of us.
Correct.
It is a
We just
sad
reflavor
reality.
something.
It is a sad reality, but it's what must be done.
Hello, Coulter. All right. The next most common question that we probably hear is, when is the release? We want our cards. Want to play with new cards.
Want them now?
But I want it now.
I mean, of course you do. Well, given the trajectory that we've been on so far, and Grandpa's, feel free to amend or correct this here. It looks like we're targeting somewhere in August or September.
That sounds about
Probably.
right.
This, of course, is very close to when Everfree and Continentals will be running. But as a matter of course, even if the set is ready to go by Everfree time frame, it's, probably going to be for the best if the set is not usable during Continentals, because I'm going to be honest here, that situation that happened with Rock and Rave, and what was that?
Don't
20
release sets 2 weeks before.
Yeah, 2014 Continentals. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, it turns out metas need time to adjust, and cards need time to have their balance determined.
If the cards are ready by Everfree, it is entirely possible that we will have a repeat of last year where a cube or some kind of semi-sealed event allows them.
It's a fun way to get people to see the stuff that hasn't been spoiled yet.
Yeah.
Your first question there we will get to later in this stream, Warfrog.
The set, I believe, currently has all the anticipated card designs completed. So at this point, it's just going through and making sure that everything is reasonably balanced, and of course doing all the flavoring, aka the hard/fun part.
Correct. For reference, I believe this puts us about 2 to 3 months ahead of last year. Is that about right?
Continentals was sometime in November, wasn't it?
First week
Last
in
year?
November. Yeah.
Then yeah, we're ahead by 3 months, I believe. If it comes out in August, 3 months.
So we are making good progress.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that stuff isn't going to change.
Yeah, we'll get to that one in a little bit, though.
Speaking of stuff changing, you may have seen that in some of the spoilers that have been released so far, there's a card number at the bottom, as well as a set symbol. Are these final?
No. Well, the numbers sure are not. I think there's like 8 cards, so like 95% of the numbers in the bottom right corner, those are all just garbage. Just ignore those. They have a lot more to do with when the card was designed rather than where it's going to fall in the final set. The set symbol, on the other hand, is actually the real one.
Yep.
Let's see, I think we've got one more thing to talk about, just kind of as a point of order here.
Okay.
And I quote, "Pony Life, question mark, exclamation point, I'm quitting, exclamation point, 11. I want to be perfectly clear here. That was a joke. And the set 12 is, to the best of my ability, not going to feature any Pony Life. But you gotta give me a little bit here, because even Celestia trolls people now and then.
Don't
Now
worry,
and then.
we'll fit Pony Life into the game at some point. I'll do my best to make it happen.
The card art was amazing.
Now you just enjoyed like everything else around it.
I will
The
take
subtitle.
Pony Life before Equestria Girls. I've already declared this as the hill that I will die on.
It is a small hill.
It is
I
a
don't
very
even-
small hill. There aren't many people up here with me.
I don't even understand why. A lot of the Equestria Girls specials are actually really good.
And so the way I'm going to sit here and rebel is by picking pieces of the pony version out of that.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
It's
Scene
not
0 of the specials.
It's not technically Equestria Girls.
Technically. Okay, how about some more design questions here? So, Andrew asked, are we going to be moving towards main characters that have more thematic ways to flip? I think he might be referring to just more interesting ways to flip, like Paradox Pony, where the requirement is long but the payoff is real.
Let's see here. So this depends a little bit on what you're going to call thematic, and this is also a mechanics question, not just a flavor question. Being clever with flip conditions tends to lead to cards like, and sorry in advance, Leo, Loving Ruler, which are really cute for flavor reasons, but mechanically kind of bad
Terrible.
to use to the point of like never seeing play.
Unplayability.
Yeah. And so making sure that a main at least has a chance at seeing play, unfortunately, can necessitate flip conditions that are maybe less than thematic or flavorable for the character.
Now, with that being said, I think of the mains that are in the set right now, the flip condition is somewhat thematic, and there's at least one main that has a very flavorful flip condition.
Or at least a more unique one, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Werefrog asks about, what about using art from comics? Well, that's not covered under... well...
That one's difficult. The comics work a little bit differently than the show. Grabbing just random screenshots out of the show is more kosher than going into a comic and basically taking a screenshot out of a piece of printed material where the static image is the like official material instead of just a frame out of the show.
If you all want to petition Andy Price to do like card art for us, I'm not going to turn it down.
But I don't think I don't think that one is within our means.
Right.
But if it happens, we'll definitely take it.
I
Would
mean,
be funny.
Yeah, I won't say no. Going back onto the topic of mains, is each main going to have a different requirement? I'm assuming this is different flip requirement. The theme for the majority of the mains in this set does necessitate that they all have very similar flip conditions.
Well, most of the mains, not all.
Right. Most of the mains.
And once the mains are spoiled, it'll become a little bit more apparent why that's the case. Let's see. Continuing with the main theme, do we believe these mains will be worth running over the ones we already have?
Nah, totally trash.
Now.
I was going to say they are at least tier 2, but you went all the way for the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, given that Grandpa's kind of designed most of these, I think he's allowed to throw shade on himself. That sounds okay to me.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I have some idea what I'm doing. I would agree with Ivory. And I'm pretty sure Ara and Cheese would back this up as well. That, yeah, they're probably good enough to at least debate including.
I think they are at minimum a consideration, because they're going to open a handful of doors to archetypes or playstyles that maybe haven't seen the support that they need to go big before.
So are we talking about cards that are creating styles of play where that style of play is radically different compared to what we already have?
Well, we're not making, for example, a fifth archetype or something, but I think you're going to find that these mains will enable different ways to achieve some of those archetypes. How does Purple Troublemaker aggro sound?
Hold on. Wait, say those 3 words again?
Purple
Okay.
Troublemaker
Makes sense.
aggro.
You lost me.
Must have nothing but moon dancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously all Moon Dancers.
So unique approaches to existing archetypes.
For
Okay.
example.
As one example, sure. Interesting.
All right, let's see. And I think these are all questions from Andrew, by the way. He has one final question, which is, can we please get a Celestia main that is worth playing? And I believe I will let Celestia answer for herself here.
Wow, I have not seen that website logo in years.
Well, it seems like she's less than amicable, so not in this set anyway. But it's about time that she got one.
We'll have to keep that in mind for the future. She has actually started doing things again, but then she just retired, so what, are we going to just have Celestia in a Shea lounge out there in Shady Shoals or something?
Silver
Just
Shoals.
chilling.
Silver Shoals, whatever.
There has to be an amusing screen cap we can grab of her that can be built or something around.
The Werfog brings up a good point that Celestia is not on the day shift anymore, and I think we're all glad for that. We've had enough of her on that shift as it is.
I haven't.
Okay.
Sure. Whatever.
Diamond Song, who is here in chat, asks, will there be a card to benefit Thorax main, aka Best Changeling?
What? You could have just asked for a hissing. Seriously.
Yes, there are almost certainly cards that the Traitor to the Hive is going to be considering.
Yes, there's at least one card that I'm pretty sure a trader is going to be looking at very, very heavily.
It looks like Diamond Song also asked earlier whether if she can get her Yona Asterisk main, which the answer to that is you got that main already.
You did get that main already.
Asterisk.
The problem here is that you're now looking at Yona versus Celestia, and I'm going to be honest, my money's on Celestia there.
Yeah.
I don't know, Celestia's been kind of worthless in a lot of fights.
Yona
No.
has been proactive.
Well, Yona is very proactive. I mean, Yak Smash, right? Yak best at being proactive. And the problem here is that this is a fundamental difference with Celestia's policy of being a puppet master and having arranged things such that she doesn't have to do anything like 3 weeks ago. So then, truly, who is most proactive?
Before we leave the topic of mains, it looks like Cursed Chords also asked, will there be a main in each color? Which the answer to that one is going to be no. We will only have mains in certain colors for this set.
I can't even stick an asterisk on this one and be like, yes, asterisk. Technically, it's a colorless main, but hey.
Like we could have done with Student 6, right?
Yeah. Which colors they are, you will have to wait and find out. Anemoy also asked, will there be a card that lets you access the bottom of your deck? And the answer to that one is there are actually a few cards that will let you interact with the bottom of your deck. And a couple that will let you interact with the bottom of the opponent's deck.
Sounds
That's
kinda,
ominous.
That's new.
that's kind of spicy.
A little interesting.
Medium spice.
Medium spice, 3 of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 out of 7.
There's a few here in chat. Prism Light, maybe you can clarify what you mean by how close. But Schlogerdorp has a question here. Is there anything that's going to be done in the set to balance out the power bump that Yellow has been enjoying in the recent months? Cheese?
Balances out what Yellow's been doing.
So we've been paying quite a bit of attention to that, and that's definitely been on our minds as we've gone through both set design and game curation. So I don't think we're quite ready to do anything about that just yet, but yes, that is a hot topic that we have been paying quite a bit of attention to. The details, of course, will come out with the set.
Still to come, yes.
Yeah, that one that's an ongoing development that we don't have a solid answer for quite yet.
Yep. Like I said, keeping an eye on it.
Let's see. It looks like we have a question from the Board Gaming Pony with, is there any way for us to print out the older sets? It would be... Oh, I'm sorry. I would try my hardest to grab official cards. However, there is no way to buy the older sets of the TCG in primary stores, and I just want to be able to play the game with the cards.
Well, we answered this a little bit at the beginning. Older sets can be purchased from pack breakers. But there's also the option of online play if you prefer that.
There's quite an active group on Discord. There's almost always players looking for games throughout the day, early morning and late at night. And let's not forget that OnlineCon is happening next weekend, and Heiko's starting tonight. Oh god, Heiko's starting tonight.
It is?
Heiko is probably going to be delayed. I don't believe we have enough signups currently.
Okay.
What?
Maybe.
You were afraid you were going to have to throw a deck together in the next 90 minutes?
Yeah.
Little concern? Much concern?
Mild concern.
Moderate concern.
Moderate concern.
I'll be pressing X to doubt on that one.
Really?
I would have felt much better about what I would play if Leo hadn't played the soup incident on me earlier this week.
You did tell him you were running a combo deck.
I told everyone I was running a combo deck. I asked for it.
And what
So
exactly?
someone prepared.
Yes, and what happened?
I got combo assassined.
Is the soup incident the first card we ever saw that really, really needed to be in a sideboard?
I mean, if sideboards existed back then, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's a good question.
That was back in AD, right?
CG,
no.
actually.
Yeah, that one was CG.
CG?
So we're asking, were there cards that were printed prior to CG that basically would have been sideboard exclusive? No. Applejack, element of loyalty or honesty.
Oh yeah, the Nightmare Moon Assassin.
Yes.
I always forgot about that card, probably because I never played with her.
That card scrunches me so much. Still suffering PTSD years later.
What, from the one hit off of Yellow Parasprite?
First card, one of out of the opponent's deck, yes.
You seem upset.
Yes.
I am mildly upset, yes. I would
remember that game.
I would go so far as to say that I am scrunched. As I'm still a little scrunched about that.
So earlier in the chat here, we had
27 Trixies.
Oh, yep, there it is. Earlier in the chat, we had the Werefrog who asked a question about reprints or slightly tweaked older cards, and what our stance was including them in a set. Not necessarily set 12, but at some point. Well, supporting formats that use older cards, like Harmony, for example, is something that we definitely have a desire to do. The problem is, the balance on many early cards was
different.
Different is a nice way of saying it. Let's
I'm-
call it.
Remember Canterlot Knights?
Yes.
Let's call it spotty at best. Swingy.
Swingy.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Wild.
Yes. That's a good way to put that. Yes.
Now, that being said, we have had discussion about how we would tackle something like this. It's an ongoing discussion, so rest assured that is something that we've thought about.
Well, let's see. I think the question in specific. Where did that go? If we'll see cards inspired by or fixed versions of previously banned cards, I would actually direct your attention to the Rainbow Shine printed in Leaders and Legends. That's basically just a fixed version of Premier Rainbow Shine, who did nothing wrong.
It only took 11 sets? 10, whatever it was.
Yeah. And it turns out that I don't think she's seen much, if any, play, but admittedly it's a 2-color card instead of a 1-color card. And you don't have...
And the ability isn't that interesting outside of combo.
I-
The original ability.
I would disagree. There were uses for it. It was, I think, more interesting that she was a 1-cost, right, 2-cost, 1-rec Pegasus friend that counted towards Rainbow Dash Hanging Out's flip condition.
That's true. There were exhaust effects back then, that's very true.
Yeah, the exhaust would have been somewhat incidental, but take what you can get.
Echo asks the question, do we think that RTO, Rarity Truly Outrageous, is a card that could be printed in a current, I'm assuming he's referring to like a current core set. What do you guys think?
There's enough removal. Sure.
I feel like that would just be a walking target.
I think she'd still be pretty powerful.
Definitely powerful, but maybe not as devastating as she was back in those early days.
Even in Harmony, you don't see her played that much.
Right.
Mhm.
I think she'd be a liability at this point, actually. Like,
Mhm.
3 tokens. What can you do with 3 tokens in, say, a nurturing nature aggro deck?
A
The
lot of
other
stuff.
issue is the bonuses on problems for recent sets have been much lower.
Right.
Like the average is significantly lower.
Yeah.
Now, White has a few options for that.
Yeah. Not to mention, she's also got some rather stiffer competition at this point in the form of Miss Main and so on and so forth. You also, if you're not in White, have entry issues, which is potentially problematic.
The only thing that I would be a little concerned about for RTO in terms of strength is there is quite a bit of immediate speed movement that exists in core right now. And while problem and confront requirements are generally higher and bonuses are generally lower, being able to double tag problems with RTO in a single turn is still a pretty huge swing.
Oh yeah, that's true, because you can sit there and play some rather hilarious shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
What your Nightglider?
We have Nightglider at home, shows Daybreaker. Very accurate. It's important to remember that there are a lot of cards that saw play in core at one point or another that may not be legal now, and while they are definitely fun to play, the longer those cards remain, the more stagnant the format becomes. It doesn't even just mean cards like Nightglider that are very, very good.
Trading
It just means,
conditions.
yeah, it just means cards in general. Ultimately, having a larger card pool is a good idea, but when there's a big difference in design philosophy and balance between particular cards, the outliers are going to warp that format.
Trading traditions.
Yeah, we have seen this happen throughout many metas in this game. Anyone remember when F-Stop was legal? Do you remember
Yes.
seeing F-Stop in every control deck that you face
Remember
in every
when-
tournament?
When no one ran F-Stop?
Yes, and everyone was wrong, and we didn't realize it till like 2 years later.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, we did aggro really dumb ways for the first, 6 months of the game?
Something like that.
Big friends.
Bugle asks, what is our favorite new card?
So, I actually don't know offhand how many chrysalises are in the set because it's too many to keep track of on one hand.
At this
She
rate,
could
we
also
may end
be
up
any
with...
of the ponies.
Very true. And at this rate, it may actually end up with more chrysalises than Trixie.
I'm pretty sure it's already at more chrysalis than Trixie. In specific, you're going to have to ask me during Slogfest because there's a lot of flavoring, and flavor plays a big component into how much I like some of these cards. And because it's funny, though, I'm going to answer, there's a card with the playtest name of Get Down, Mr. Princess!
It's a pretty good name. I would be torn with that. But I think my favorite card right now is an orange-blue friend that provides some needed support for that archetype. Ivory, what about you?
Oh,
To be honest, I actually never thought about it until now.
Your
Probably the card.
I think you cut out there.
Yeah.
Sorry. The card that has the playtest name Traffic Control is the one I'm most interested in seeing in the wider format.
Have a card with that playtest name?
I don't think so.
Pegasus Chariot had the playtest name of Air Traffic Control.
Okay.
I actually I didn't even remember that one. But yeah, I think Traffic Control is one that I'm interested in seeing how that plays out.
It's probably my second place choice as well.
It's a little bit of a throwback for the three of you who know what the card is.
Yeah. I'm not sure which card would be my favorite yet.
We're still in kind of the balance and flavor side, and that plays a lot into favorite cards.
Yeah. I'm liking Werefrog here going, as long as there's a derpy. I hear you, man. I hear ya. Hey, there's an idea. I'm just going to start replacing Trixies with derpies.
Ooh, there you go.
I have 150 derbies.
We did have one more question relating to the mains. Bugle asked, who are the mains going to be? Probably characters from the show.
Yep, definitely characters
That's
from
a
the show.
good chance.
Might be an OC in there. It's
So you're saying that it's not going to be Sonata?
Named, Sonata was a character in the show. She showed up. There was a sequence with Star Swirl, right?
Technically,
the sirens were there.
I think they also no, they didn't show up in the finale, but
well,
Schlurgerdorp asks in chat, are there any concerns about the card pool being too small, and would a single set rotation be something that might be considered? Card pools grow when set rotations happen less frequently. Cards get a chance to see more play, and archetypes get a chance to be more established the longer a set remains. Doing more frequent rotation means that the decks that are seeing play and the synergies that are present last for a shorter period of time. If people are already upset about losing cards that they've got to play with for 3 years or more, having that card rotate out faster is not going to solve that issue.
I mean, that depends on what you set the rotation to. But
this, I think, was in the context of let's have a last end sets core card pool instead of a last full block plus what was and so it would be, I think, well,
Rotating. Go ahead.
I mean, at this point, that's something we could take a look at, but I'm not sure if it would be a great idea for the reasons already given. One of the major reasons that EO through Marks in Time were rotated out together is because you need all three of those sets together in order to provide a complete set of all the tricolor. Or, sorry, the bicolor stuff. Because each set had 5 two-color combinations out of the 15 possible. Whereas Defenders and later sets had smaller numbers of each color combination, but each set had all of them.
Right, rotating out single sets from the EO block, for example, would have caused a huge shift in terms of the
viable color combinations.
Right. And while that can be interesting for shaking up stale metas, and I understand why that type of tactic would be used, we're not even at a solved meta now. And we have the smallest card pool available for the core format that we've, well, since it's induction, yeah.
Yeah.
So when there is still room to explore, when decks are not 100% dominant, especially with sideboards throwing, another curveball in here now, I think we're happy with the rotation as we had previously discussed it.
Let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. Bugle asks, will there be a Trixie card? There are now 26 Trixies.
Correct.
The context of that question, by the way, was, will there be a Trixie card? I don't actually care about the answer. I'm just trying to reduce the number of Trixies in the set.
25 Trixies.
The next one is...
Will we get... the Werefrog asks, will we get an ultra-rare problem? Absolutely not.
But we don't have to worry about opening them anymore. Because that was always the concern, was opening a pack with an ultra-rare problem.
So that's a question, though, right? Like, an ultra-rare problem you could have, in theory, still run 2 of. Is an ultra-rare problem worse than an ultra-rare main?
Yes, because mains are mains. Problems are problems.
I mean,
you're always guaranteed to have your ultra-rare main. You're not guaranteed to always have your ultra-rare problem.
No.
As the mains are more interesting.
I think the problem... Well, no, because the problem here is that the kind of thing you need to put on a problem to make it ultra-rare worthy is something that's going to be, like, ban-worthy stupid, probably. Like, trading traditions.
I think Fire When Ready could have been an ultra-rare problem.
Yeah.
I think that's probably... Yeah.
But it was one of the first rare ones. It was not the first, but it was up there.
If you put it as it was originally printed with 15 bonus.
Yeah. God, that would have been ridiculous when we printed Dilemmas, or when Dilemmas were printed.
Okay, I play Just Clowning Around. I confront my other problem. I confront Just Clowning Around. Let's replace my problem. Oh, look at that.
That seems bad. No,
do you want to go to?
We could. It's be something to consider, but again, you have to consider, like, why would you do that in the first place, and could you do it without making something that's just busted?
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny though.
It had to be. You'd have to do it for reasons of draft or sealed,
where you really, really, really didn't want that problem to be around there.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that point,
for that you can just make it fixed.
I mean, sure. Godot asks, revisiting mains, will there be an ultra rare main, a basic main set, or a combination of both? I don't know if we want to answer that quite
I
yet.
don't think if we want to answer that quite yet. Yeah, I think it's...
I don't think we've said how many mains.
Nah.
Diamond Song with a flavor suggestion of Rainbow Shine did nothing wrong as a problem.
You know what its ability is? When you move a character to this problem, you may ready another character here.
It's just Rainbow Shine?
Yeah. Basically.
I feel like this might be broken.
This might be a problem.
I mean, it's definitely a problem, but is it a problem?
Tish.
Okay. Like, you expected literally anything else out of that.
No.
Okay, just making sure.
So what's the... so Bugle asks, what's the primary design goals for the set?
Ponies are cute.
I think that's a good design goal.
Yeah, but we can't just make Exodus the pony card game.
Why not?
I am unfamiliar with this reference.
Ponies are cute. Like, I think in a more concrete sense here, maybe there isn't a... Or I don't want to give an answer to this in terms of a design goal, but from a flavor goal, we've got 13 episodes full of all kinds of crazy cool stuff happening. I, for one, I'm looking forward to some of this. It's going to be fun.
I'll take a crack at the mechanical design side of that a bit. Leaders and Legends was designed with a points matter theme to it, as well as kind of an events matter theme due to Talented. Those design goals or points kind of spread throughout the set. You saw that on the entry cycle of Friends, you saw it on one of the events in each color, you saw it on the Talented Friends, so that theme, that design goal, was represented throughout it. Set 12 does not have that same design goal. I would say that Set 12's biggest goal is probably total color power matters.
Well, color matters. Color has always mattered, though.
How much of a particular color you have
has not mattered quite as much, just in terms of being able to meet Rex, but...
Yeah, outside of Rex, I don't think it has ever mattered.
Right.
Go ahead.
And we'll talk a little bit more about this later when we cover some of the spoilers. But there's been some speculation. And we'll see whether or not that speculation is correct. Maybe. Maybe.
We have a question from Slender Pony here. Will there be a Royal Rare this set?
Yes. But, and there's always a but, as with Leaders and Legends, the Royal Rare will be handled as a promo and not shipped as part of the set.
But we don't have a Royal Rare for Leaders and Legends.
We don't have one that's been released.
Ah.
Because the nice thing about giving the meta some time to develop is that we wouldn't, for example, make a Royal Rare of the Power of Friendship. I don't... Has that thing even seen play?
I think it's been in a couple decks.
Is this a card from LL that I forgot about?
It's the You Are Purple event.
And there you go. So, if for some reason we made a Royal Rare of that, it would be kind of useless. Because, like, no one would want to play that. So, because we have a better idea of which things are really going to click and be popular, we have a better idea of what to make into a royal rare.
Not Puckwudgie, sorry,
Yep.
Bugle.
Definitely Puckwudgie.
So you can collect 45.
Well,
Or
so you
rare
can
Puckwudgies.
run Puckwudgie in your Harmony Opulence deck.
Yes.
High Opulence.
You can only run one of it, though. Like, otherwise you're going to need a ridiculously large number of,
Uh-huh.
Well, no, hold on, because the way the Pauper format works, it allows variants, so you'd actually be able to run the Royal Rare Puckwudgie in Pauper, but you wouldn't be able to run it in Opulence because the base version of the card doesn't meet the requirements for Opulence.
This is a good point.
It's terrible.
Pretty much. I don't know, that would actually be kind of funny to make a Puckwudgie Royal Rare.
Oh, Skitter asks a question that I'm surprised it took this long to get to. Snex?
Always
Six.
Snicks.
So what's the actual answer to this?
The actual answer to this is, to some degree. There's a little bit of critter synergy going on. But, more importantly, a couple types of tokens that we haven't seen in a while, Figments and Rocks, they're going to be showing up again.
So we will have the full set of tokens again.
So I know you wanted some snakes, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to hold on to a couple of these metaphorical concepts here. And also this bag of rocks. Which is not a metaphorical concept. It's just a bag of rocks.
Unless it is a metaphorical concept and you're just lying to me.
It's both at once.
It's a solid metaphorical concept.
Oh my... Ah.
But what is a solid anyway? What
Couldn't be a
defines a
solid.
solid?
Alright, Socrates, back on your rocker.
Heh, you said rock.
He did.
Oh my... I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Uh-huh.
A little bit.
Mm.
You rocked right into it.
No, I think I'm gonna have to give the hissing to Echo here, because I think that's the...
Nice going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, that covers the questions that were submitted so far. While we take a look at some of the spoilers that have already been released, if there are any questions that people did not get the chance to ask or would like to have clarified, this would still be a good time to post them in chat.
And if we miss something, our apologies, but...
You know, you can reach out to us through a variety of ways that we may tell you about at the end of this video.
Yes, or you could ask your question in chat. Like, right now. Both
Do it now!
Both of these options are fine. Okay.
Are they? Are they really?
Oh, alright. Alright, rock puns. Rock puns is what we're doing.
Can we have that one person during the panel that shows up as mod and ask the question very, very slowly?
Maud doesn't do things slowly, she just does them deliberately.
The Werefrog asks, can we get some unknown background ponies as cards or lesser known background ponies?
I think we've had that in a lot of sets.
We've pulled some occasional... Well, okay, so the last time that this happened...
Didn't FF have a bunch of griffins?
There was a bunch of stuff got names in Friends Forever. Just kind of going down the list of G names for griffins. Because it turns out that all griffins have G names. Which is kind of weird. And I think there's like 2 exceptions to this or something. But one of the characters that got named was Old Money. And, well,
Yeah. Saw what happened with that. Schlorgerdorp says, wasn't there a screenshot of Rick and Morty ponies? When are they getting cards? Man, they did. They did get cards. This one pony turned himself into a pickle, man. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I don't think they've actually had cards though.
Did we actually drop that meme on stream?
I think we did.
I mean, you had to see it coming.
If none of you were gonna do it, I was certainly gonna do it.
I was finding the thing on Reddit for FanMan while you were doing that.
Well, at least one of us was being productive.
It wasn't Ivory.
I guess not.
Now rest assured though, we're going to put some new things in here. Some characters that have never before been seen, like Phyllis. We got a slot all lined up for that.
Start making your predictions on what traits Phyllis will have.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
That's a keyword, not a trait.
Anyway.
Okay, how about some spoilers that we've already seen?
I don't know. I mean, I assume most people have seen these.
They are so adorable.
Let's see. Once again,
They're so old.
the number down in the bottom left corner, the 84, doesn't mean anything on these. Images that we are releasing prior to the formal release of the set are not necessarily fixed. Things may change, flavor may change, game text may change, etc. So don't go getting too happy and building up card databases out of this stuff just yet. Okay? Okay.
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 Okay. I'm gonna go down that meme now. Alright.
Yeah.
What do we got here aside from possibly the most diabetes-inducing card art I've ever seen?
We have a tricolor song that says, choose one, move each of your characters at home to the same problem, players can't win face-offs until the start of your next turn, or gain control of an opposing friend. And yes, Schlorgerdorp is right here on the color reason. Apple Bloom has been meddling in alchemy, and that's clearly a magical art, so she has graduated from the low ranks of Mud Pony to the high ranks of Magic User, and her color has changed.
Correct.
Hey, now that's a little bit harsh.
It's amazing what years of experience will do to a person or pony or both.
Nah, I think I'm gonna blame this one on Zikora's influence.
Alchemy is magic, you just have to obey the law of equivalent exchange.
Pretty much.
And if you don't, bad things happen.
Correct. Anyway, so this being a tricolor song, this not only tells us what the, or, well, it actually tells us both of the tricolor patterns.
Indeed it does.
It also tells us that we're keeping up the tricolor song thing. And so presumably then there must be a couple of tricolor friends. Although maybe we're being sneaky this time and have changed the colors on them. Although probably not, because as Chad is noting here, yeah, the purple's a little bit weird, and if we were going to play this straight, it probably would be orange. So darn, I guess we're not that clever, are we? Oops.
So, a question that has come up with this card has been, if players can't win face-offs, what happens?
Well, most of the time,
Same thing that happened. Surely.
No.
no, that's actually
It's-
a little bit different because the face-off just
yeah,
ending.
no, that is different.
The face-off just ending doesn't invoke the consequences for winning or losing.
Yeah.
This means that almost all face-offs are written in terms of what happens to the winner of the face-off and the loser of the face-off.
Correct.
And even if you bring something like, say, the Queen Nova Ultra Rare in here, that still won't affect this because she changes the win conditions. She doesn't change the consequences.
The Werefrog is correct in this case. Both players lose the face-off. Unless you are ending the face-off prematurely through an effect like Cheerly or Ember, every face-off is always going to have a loser, but not every face-off is going to have a winner. It's the same situation you'd end up with if both players flipped all the cards in their decks and the power totals were tied. Both players lose. So what's important to do is to look at the consequences of losing a face-off compared to the consequences of winning a face-off. For example, if a challenger fights a troublemaker, that troublemaker is dismissed if the challenger wins. It is not dismissed if the troublemaker's owner loses.
Technically, it's defeated, and part of defeating is gaining the points and dismissing, but...
Yes.
Sorry, just had to go full Twilight there.
Sorry.
Never go full Twilight. Or always do.
Always go.
Okay. Next card.
And of course, the art on this is just ridiculously cute.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. Next up, we've got a small... What color is she? Salmon? Salmon-colored Pegasus? Who's just out to cause trouble.
Salmon colored.
Okay, let's see. 5 power, 1 point. If you would move one of your characters to a problem, you may move this card to that problem instead. So this gets rather interesting if you've got an agile character, because now you can cause a troublemaker to move around on command.
That sounds mean.
I mean, Cozy's mean.
But what if my agile character is also swift?
Then you're either dealing with, what is it, Lightning Dust or Flash Magnus?
Or somehow I've made one of my changelings swift and have played Defend the Hive.
That's concerning. Well, that just means it moves for cheaper. At immediate speed.
Now, it is important to note that this only works if you can move one of your characters to a specific problem. And then you can move Cozy Glow to that problem instead of moving your character there. You must still pay the cost as though you tried to move your character.
Right.
Also, you can't move a character to a location that it's already at.
Yes, and if you have something like, oh, I don't know, a certain white Devil Babby. Flurry Heart.
There's a white one.
I'm also confused about that.
No, just the little Devil Babby. Her coat's white.
Oh,
sure.
Okay, sure.
Is it not pink?
Mostly white.
Well, you replace the movement of your character after the costs for that movement have been paid, so you must have already paid the Luna tax.
Mm-hmm.
The Werefrog asks, can you move from a problem after the confront? Not sure what specifically you're asking there. Are you asking if you move one of your characters away so that you unblock a problem, do you then have a face-off there? No. The troublemaker was there when you would have confronted, and it saw that it blocked the opponent at that point in time.
Right. It works kind of like the old Flim and Flam card did. You can choose to confront one problem. And if Cozy's in the way when you attempt to confront, you just don't confront.
Right. Confront steps are performed one at a time in an order of the turn player's choosing, so you gotta pick it. And once you've tried to do your confront step at that problem, you can't go back and try again if she moves.
Unless a Simula was played, but that's a special case.
Sure.
So, yeah, she can be a little bit annoying.
There's a word I'd use to describe her.
Yay.
It's even right there in the book next to her picture.
That one I'm not going to show on stream.
That's fair.
Let's see. Shortliturb asks if you move Cozy away during a face-off involving her, does that stop the face-off? No, it does not, but it means that you're very likely to, or the challenger is very likely to win that face-off for no reason.
Well, that's not necessarily true. If you move Cozy away during the troublemaker face-off with her, Cozy remains involved because she is still the troublemaker. But when you challenge a troublemaker, all your characters at that troublemaker's problem are involved.
We're gonna need to take a look at the rules for that one, because that's gonna cause
I was actually just looking at those
interesting problems.
So if Cozy gets the heck out of Dodge and moves to a problem where you have no characters, it's very likely that she will win the face-off, and the challenger will lose the face-off, but nothing will happen because none of their characters are involved anymore.
Yeah. 514.3D.
Interesting. We might have to take a slightly more in-depth look at that one, because there's also some fun things about how you're only allowed to challenge one troublemaker per problem.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Cozy is not going to be a rules nightmare or anything like that.
Nah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be K.
We've had worse.
Yeah, we've had Flurry Heart.
Had worse. Yes. We'll get the...
I like mixing this card with Spike and Twilight and Spike.
That's terrible. Why would you do this?
Because he just wants to watch the world burn.
I want to watch the world move.
I mean... Yeah. Fair.
Next card?
This is almost as bad as the Randpocalypse. The trifecta of Derpy, Poppy, Double Babby.
Oh yeah. Let's just throw Cozy Glow in there too. Seems great.
Yeah, it seems great. Alright, next card. In deference to the fact that, no, we're not putting Pony Life, some things went away.
Now it's a Chrissy card.
It says placeholder art.
Yep,
No, that's
Rainbow
the actual
Dash.
art.
Yeah, certainly looks like Rainbow Dash, though, doesn't it?
Do you not see Rainbow Dash?
I see Rainbow Dash.
Rainbow Dash.
Wait. Obviously not any changelings in the room, because... well, it's seeing Rainbow Dashes instead of an Arqueen, obviously. Pony Life Chrysalis. Please no. Okay.
It'll be a thing.
It will.
Yeah, maybe. She'll be a statue. I think the statue is a better end than getting turned into a Pony Life character.
Give it time. Pony Life isn't out yet.
Yeah. Let's see. Odds are this is going to be a Rainbow Dash, but not known for certain. Everything else on here, though, probably going to stay as is. The cost, power, and of course the game text.
So I can't help but notice there's this little word down there. Not the flavor town. Not the Flavor Town word.
but I want to go to Flavor Town. All right. So what word are you looking at here? Power has this card.
Unity?
How about Unity?
The little
What does Unity mean?
the little
Unity.
the little 7 with the blue symbol?
Little 7.
Yes.
I think it was Echo that said, is that basically what it is last time?
Yeah, there have been a few people getting some good guesses at this.
I think someone actually called the correct definition of this in Discord.
Yeah, I think that was Smithers, actually.
So what is
Maybe.
the correct definition of this?
So the correct definition of this, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't have the exact wording in front of me right now, is while your characters in play...
I have the actual text.
Do you have the actual text? Go for it. That's going to be better than me trying to remember this off the top of my head.
But I like game shows.
I thought I had the text. I thought it was in this document.
It's in BizOps, I think.
It went somewhere.
Let me try to find it. 1 second.
Okay, stalling for time.
Okay, here we go.
We should add this to the document it's supposed to be in.
We should add this to the document.
Okay, I have it here.
Okay, yes. Unity, first off, speaking of design and balance not being completely finalized yet, is currently listed as a key phrase. The plan is to change it to a key word.
Which would mean it's bold rather
Correct.
than italic.
And the keyword would mean that while you have characters with the specified color whose combined power meets or exceeds the listed value, this card has the following text.
So what I'm hearing here is that if I've got 7 blue, this 1-drop here turns into a 3 power. You know, blue friend.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you have 7 blue, you actually have 9 blue.
Correct. It's a little weird to think about, but yes, that's true.
No, negative power doesn't work. Can't reduce a friend's power below 0.
You
I like
can,
that
you
this
can, but only
card-
for one specific purpose.
Does the Unity take into account this card's power when it's in the flip zone?
No.
No, Unity is a keyword that functions just like Swift or Diligent.
Having is defined in the rules as controlling. And you don't control cards in the flip zone.
Yes. And as with some of the harmony effects that we saw in Friends Forever, the fact that it says Unity here when you flip it doesn't mean you also get the Unity power while it's flipped. Because otherwise you'd end up with some of the... what was that? Power Play, I think it was, which has a chaos effect, and Harmony Dragon, I think.
To answer Slorgadorb's question, this is, I believe, goes to timestamp order because of continuous modifiers. So you need to look at the ordering section of the rules in 7 something.
If it's not timestamps, it's dependency. It's one of those two.
I mean, if it is dependency, then it turns into a timestamp thing eventually.
Sure.
Everything, it's timestamps all the way down.
So if the minus got applied afterwards, that's a later timestamp.
Right. You'd need to end up reducing. What do you have to do? You'd have to drop your total power back down to 5, which would then shut the unity off because you no longer met the requirement. There's going to be some interesting situations that arise from this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also going to be interesting, and this is not the only kind of thing that is going to be following a Unity keyword. Sorry. Some of them are a little bit more interesting.
Zesty, you shall say.
I think this is the only one that modifies its power based on Unity.
I think it is too, but I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway.
Next card.
Next card.
Let's see, we got a dragon in a dress.
It's a skirt.
Yeah,
You wouldn't show up to a fancy restaurant wearing a cheerleading outfit.
Maybe you would.
One would not show up to a fancy restaurant.
Probably not.
Not with that attitude, anyway.
Are footy pajamas a dress if they are in one piece, then?
I'm just going to show up to one of those fancy steakhouses that Cheese always goes to in Ikigu.
This is going to be funny.
I just wear t-shirt and jeans.
Well, yes, but Bay Area. Anyway. Let's see. So we've got a Smolder Cheerleader, 2 cost, 2 power, 1 rec. Has the Cheerleader trait, which is important because the second piece of this card's ability says when this card enters play, if you have a Cheerleader friend with a different name, an opponent discards a random card. It also has competitive 1, because she's the cheerleader, of course.
Got to root for your team. Got to be
Right?
competitive.
Right? And in
She
this
is
case,
she is absolutely adorable, by the way.
well, yeah, I'll give you that one. She's not the most adorable, though.
No,
If-
she's not.
If
You want to
are
know
watching,
you want to know who is the most adorable and would be the most adorable in a cheerleading outfit?
it's Silverstream, by the way.
Well,
I mean,
And if
I
you're
was
watching,
going to go for
no,
you know,
aren't. No, you
Gallus?
aren't. Don't even try. Don't even
Sandbar.
try.
Gallus?
yeah,
Gallus.
Gallus?
Gallus would rock that. Are you kidding me?
Oh, look at him. He's such a cute burb.
See, isn't he great?
Why doesn't he have a skirt?
Because he rocks those pants too well.
Yeah. Pant version is actually really awesome.
I agree with Animoy here. Swag, 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 swag.
I mean, Rarity's kind of good at doing this, so, just saying. I'm not sure what you're on about there, Bugle, but no, I'm pretty sure he's a cheerleader. Look at this. Just look at him.
Aside from his absolutely amazing card art, we have another competitive one, and we also have some synergy with cheerleader friends. When this card enters play, if you have a cheerleader friend with a different name, you may ready a card.
That's kind of spicy.
Spissy.
Huh. And he's a griffin. So I'm going to play pink, blue, Gallus main griffin shenanigans and get my cheerleaders involved in face-offs and probably have them win because they're competitive and then also ready Gallus a bunch.
I'm hearing points, is what I'm hearing.
Points are good.
Bugle wants to know if he can ready a problem. I'm
Go
issuing,
right ahead.
You gotta find a way to put an exhaustion counter on it first. That's gonna be hard.
it does say ready a card. You could ready a troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you want to ready a problem, go right ahead.
Well, you can't go right ahead and ready a problem because it says you can't do that.
You can ready a troublemaker though.
Well,
We
the
had it-
problem
we-
has to be able to be
can't
readied
exhaust
first.
the problem.
If the problem was exhausted, he could, but
Right.
it's not exhausted. So if he has a way to ready an exhausted problem, then sure.
No. Like it's fine. You just have to get the problem exhausted in the first place, but you can't ready a ready card. So
Ha!
about that. And
I also just noticed the flavor text on this card.
He
Nice-
knows.
nice play.
He knows how good he looks in that outfit. Look at that cocked eyebrow. That is the cockiest burb you've ever seen.
He is very confident.
he will
Do
be
you control your scorecard?
No. I'm issuing you a double hissing for that one. But this is interesting because this implies the existence of more than one cheerleader. It's like there's a full cycle of them.
I would certainly hope there would be more than one cheerleader. It's actually just these two. It's just Gallus and Smolder
Right?
going back and forth.
That would feel so bad.
I mean, whatever. I'll ready my carbo loader or something. I don't know.
Sounds good. I don't think we've... No, I think that's about it for spoilers, though.
For now.
Yep. I'm sure there will be more in the future.
Yeah. Now, going back to this. So adorable.
Yes. Is adorable. For now, though, this is going to wrap up our discussion on the topic of Set 12 for today. We would, of course, like to give a big shout out to all our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. If you aren't currently a patron and you enjoy what we do, please consider donating, as doing so enables us to continue making content like this and lets you earn some great perks as a bonus. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, or email. If you're a patron, you can also chat live with us on Slack any day, anytime, provided that I'm not too busy playing the World of Warcraft board game on Tabletop Simulator till 5 in the morning. All
You
weekend.
guys are crazy.
That was a mistake. I'm
For
gonna be
playing
honest.
that to begin with, and playing it on Tabletop Simulator.
Not a single mention of the 5 a.m.
I said 5 a.m.
We all know you stayed up later than that.
I mean, it's true.
Like
you did.
last night.
God, when did I even go to sleep?
Have you
6
gone to
a.m.
sleep yet?
I'll get back to you on that one.
XD.
Finally, if you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel linked just below the stream. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grand Paws.
Big cheese.
Our cat.
Ivory Starlight. Sign up for Online Con!
Also,
And
sign up-
Heiko.
Thank you. Yes, do both of those things.
Also, watch our gameplay videos on YouTube.
They get when do they get
Smash that like button or something. I don't know. I had to do it.
what? We... Whatever.
What?
No,
What?
not just
What?
this. All this thisness is what's going on here. Anyway, what-
Thisness?
yes, thisness. What? When do we post those? It's every Wednesday at noon, right?
Every Wednesday at noon.
Every Wednesday at some point.
Noon-ish.
Noon Pacific.
Like, share, subscribe.
Sure. Cool.
Ring that bell.
What? No. Okay, that's it. We're done here. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye!
Bye!
Bye.